Greetings, Visionary. In this very special episode of the League of Visionaries podcast, we're looking at a topic that is important to every visionary like you. It is how to spread your visionary message, this time through media placement. And this is a recording of the Media Strategy for Visionaries live event held in February 2023, where we looked at the topic, how to get famous with media placement. And that famous is not just about tabloid and paparazzi fame, but being the most well-known person in your field with your field of expertise within the audience that you want to reach, your target audience, and maybe even your target market, whether they are the advocates, the fans, the followers, the clients, or even the investors who need to hear about you. In this session, visionaries from around the world joined us to talk about why media placement is so powerful, who you want to reach, where you want to reach them, when to reach them, and what to reach them with, as we move into the all-important how of getting your message out there. Enjoy this session and remember to follow us here at the League of Visionary Podcast on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform. There's more information in this session to give you everything you need to get your visionary message out in the world.
Welcome everybody. Hello, my name is Cindy and I'm your host for this amazing session. I have the privilege of welcoming and introducing Marie to the tribe, and I know most of you already know her, but I'm going to do an introduction nonetheless. Marie-Thérèse Roux is the media strategist for Visionaries, a speaker, trainer, and facilitator, host to the League of Visionaries podcast, and founder of Yazzie Media Virtual Media House. Marie empowers experts, professionals, and entrepreneurs worldwide to share their visionary message in a traditional and online media to create the impact they desire and the profits they deserve. Marie has ignited audiences with practical presentations, training, and workshops in Malaysia, Taiwan, Oman, South Africa, and of course, internationally online, as we've seen with Alistair. Welcome, Alistair. Today, she hosts the League of Visionaries podcast and monthly media strategy for visionaries events, all open to the public online. In her members-only Media Strategy Mafia, visionaries enjoy further support as they develop and implement their effective media strategy. Marie's trademark is what her audiences take home: unstoppable enthusiasm and phenomenal virtual toolkits and hands-on guidance and next steps to take their learning further. Before setting off on her own, Marie created and delivered professional development training at universities, colleges, schools, and government ministries in the Far and Middle East for over a decade. She holds a master's degree from the University of Leeds in the UK, where she graduated at the top of her cohort, and is also a certified Google Fundamentals of Digital Marketing advisor, transformational coach, NLP practitioner, yoga enthusiast, and undercover raw chef. Is there anything she can't do? Not just your average pretty Polly, eh? If you aren't connected with Marie on LinkedIn, I'll drop the link to her LinkedIn profile in the chat. Please do feel free to drop your own LinkedIn and connect with those in this room, and it will be so lovely to just expand everyone's connection. And now it is my privilege to welcome the magical and mystical Marie-Thérèse to take you on a journey for the next 50 minutes or so. Welcome, Marie.
Cindy, thank you very, very much. I have to say, like, with an introduction like that, it's almost really hard for me to step up and do anything. I hope I can live up to it. Cindy Nanku is the executive virtual pro, business manager extraordinaire, and she is a Zoom host of note. I really love to work with Cindy, and she is going to be keeping an eye on the chat today. If you're running into any issues, just give her, let her know in the chat. And Cindy, thank you so much for being here to do this with us. She's also, by the way, a member of the Media Strategy Mafia. And this is just one of the amazing things I can say about Cindy. Great to have you with us today, Cindy. And for all of you joining us today, thank you for being here. And thank you especially for saying that this is where I put a stake in the ground and give an hour of my life to working on my business, working on my brand, because I can guarantee you that you will step away from our hour today with things that you can go and do to put you in front of the people that you want to be working with, and to do that with so much more confidence, because you might not want to be famous. In fact, I had a wonderful message this morning saying, just one thing, I don't actually want to be famous. So if you relate to that, would you like to raise your hand? Or you can also raise your hand with a, oh my, yes, you can also raise your hand in the functions, right? I don't necessarily want to be famous, but I need my brand to be famous so that I can be successful, right? And that is really what we're looking for today. So how can we get your brand famous without making you too notorious? I'd like you to stay out of the tabloids. This is not the kind of fame that we're looking for. Being chased by the paparazzi is no fun. But having your brand in front of the right people who are ready to support you, ready to advocate for you, ready to spread the word for you, ready to do business for you, and ready to invest in you. That is what we're looking at today. So if fame is not your thing, just let me know. Is that what you're looking for? Supporters, fans, clients, investors? Anybody? You can put a yes in the chat if that is you, or give us a big thumbs up on the screen. Yes, absolutely brilliant. That is what we want. Yeah, and we've even got a hell yeah there. Yes, that's exactly it. I'd love to give you the opportunity to get your brand famous, whether it's a personal brand or a business brand. And the great thing is that it does not have to be in front of the whole wide world. We're not talking tabloids. We're not necessarily talking BBC or CNN, and certainly not Fox News, unless that's your thing. So we want to be in front of the people who are interested in you already. And the great thing is that there are opportunities like this in the traditional media, but the best opportunities are in the small niche media that are online and that have an international reach. And if you have the right way to reach the people who are already looking for you, that's all they need. The thing is, they might be looking for you. They probably don't know your name. And chances are they haven't heard of you yet. And if they have heard of you, could it be that they're just not quite ready to take the next step? That is what we'll be talking about today. And I'd love to invite you to come over and take a look at your virtual goodie bag. We have there a little document that I'll be using to talk you through. So you're welcome to look at the media placement checklist. And in fact, it's a Google Doc, and I love the fact that I can right away go and call it a cheat sheet. There we go. So our media placement cheat sheet will show you how to get famous, but only as famous as you want to be within your ideal market. And the biggest thing we're looking for is the big fundamental question. Why? Why do you want your brand to be famous? Why do you want to get media placement? So let's have a little think about that for a moment. And I have 3 big options for you, and we'll give number 4 or other. So here's option number 1. Maybe what you want is for people to hear about you for the first time. If that's you, you can show me a 1 or you can drop a 1 in the chat. And this is a very generous party. You can take as many as you want. So you don't have to settle for just 1. So number 1, help people hear about you for the first time. That's great. Thank you, Mel. And if you're starting a new venture, as you are, that is definitely it. If you are looking to generate new business, that's also it. So Anna-Marie, you've already got an established, successful business. But the fact is that there are people out there who are looking for you, but they haven't heard of you yet. So that's a great one. And in marketing, they would usually call this awareness raising, right? So let people know about you for the first time. Option number 2, you might want people to start trusting you. Maybe they have heard about you, maybe they haven't heard about you, but you still need them to trust you. If that's you, let's give us a 2. Ooh, and I hear clients. That's a good one. Thank you, Alistair. Yes, awareness, number 1. And number 2, trust. Excellent. Our option number 3 is that you actually want to get something you can count, something like an active lead, a hot lead, somebody who's ready to do business with you, or somebody who's ready to invest in you. If that's you, let's have a 3 in the chat. Oh, yes, that's it, Susan. That's a big, oh, yes, oh, yes. Absolutely. And this is what makes a business tick, right? If people have heard about you, that's great. That's number 1. That's wonderful. There's not necessarily a dollar value on that within the first week, month, maybe even year of people hearing of you. Then their trust, that also takes time, but actually getting them to a point where they want to, let's call a spade a shovel, give you money. That is our number 3, that we actually have clients who are going to take action to support you. So yes, and you can have as much as you want, Anna-Marie, that's great. Take number 1, take number 2, take number 3. The fact is, it is a bit of a journey, right? It doesn't start with an immediate moment where people hear about you for the first time and say, that's it. Some people might, but the chances are extremely unlikely, because once they've heard about you, they will need to trust you before they take action. And then there's the wild card, number 4. Anybody else looking for anything else through your publicity? Why do you want media placement apart from letting people hear about you for the first time, build trust in you, and then take that next step? Credibility, that's beautiful, Kendra. And I think that relates to trust, but you're also talking about here an authority in your field, right? To be seen as the expert. Beautiful. Impact, Chantal, I love that. Yes, very, very nice. More credibility. Thank you, Alistair. And more impact. Great. Love that. That is the thing, to be the expert, right? The one that people turn to, the first name that comes to mind in your field. The people are actually gossiping about, you know? Did you see what they said? The one that people can say, oh, but I know someone who does that. Is that happening? And the fact is, that's probably not going to happen the first time they hear about you. It might happen as the trust builds, but over time, this takes a lot of repetition. Not only are people human, we all don't remember everything we hear the first time we take it in. It doesn't always occur to us, or maybe it's not relevant. So we need to hear messages again and again and again before they actually click in our lives. There are messages that were not relevant to you until the day you needed them. So I think we have a few parents there, right? Couple of parents here, and I'm sure you had absolutely no interest in buying baby stuff before the baby came along. It just isn't in your world, right? And then suddenly when it becomes relevant, oh, look, baby stuff, and they've got a better one. And now you know the brand names, and you know the pros and the cons of every single product, and you know the ethical concerns that people have about using this product or that product. You know the whole drill, because now it matters. The fact is, just like when you did not have a baby on the way, you did not relate to those products. There are people who are looking for you now who heard about you before, but they were not in the place where they could hear your message because it just didn't matter to them. So having that repetition of repeated times that people are going to find you and hear about you in a new context where they're at now can be really, really valuable. So we have a really good combination here. Cindy also added here to be the thought leader, right? To be the thought leader in your field. That is a big one. The person who, when you say it, it shifts. And a lot of this can happen with publicity. And the story that I often think of is a certain researcher, and I wonder if you've ever heard about, well, I'm sure you've heard his name, but I wonder if you know his story. Somewhere, I suppose it would be in the early 90s, he was doing medical work, he was doing some research, he was really working on principles that are incredibly valuable to people, things that can really change people's lives. But people hadn't really heard about him. He wrote a book or two, a few people read it, really fringe people on the outskirts of the medical profession, people who were a little bit frowned upon for their opinions. So he had a small following. And then he went on Oprah. I'm sure you've all heard of Deepak Chopra. Today, he's one of the thought leaders. But what made the difference? That placement. Now, I'm not going to guarantee you a slot on Oprah, although I think just about everybody in this room deserves it. Some of you are even ready for it. But the fact is, you don't need that big an audience because your interest might be very, very, very niche. And the online media is the perfect place to get that, although traditional media can also do it for you. So first of all, we kick off with this why. What do you really want from your media placement? Because if it's the first time you're going out there, you're probably not going to be making a ton of immediate sales directly from the fact that you appeared on a podcast or in an article or in a blog or in a magazine. But it could happen. And over time, it could lead people there. So that is a really good point to start. What do you really want? And remember, it goes from awareness to reputation, and then only to business. Yes, you could hit a home run on your first try, but it probably is a little bit of an unrealistic expectation. If you can, and if you do, bravo, well done. And I hope that especially those of you who are in the Media Strategy Mafia, you're going to be getting the tools to do that. But it's good to go and build the road to your door so people can get there. So that's our first question, why? And these are powerful, powerful motivations. But closely tied is the big question of who? Who is it that you want to reach? With that problem of, but I don't want to be famous. You see, you don't want to be famous to everybody, but you do want to be famous to the people who are most likely to take the next step and do business with you. And who are they? Are they decision makers? Are they the people who sign the checks? Are they the people who are going to be, are they the people who are going to be pushing the person who does sign the checks? If you have ever, and we're back to the parents analogy, I don't know why I'm thinking so much about parents today, but since we have a couple of you here, who really makes the decision when you take a kid to the supermarket because the kid has to be with you and you end up in that line where they put all the sweets? Who's really making that decision? It might not be the kid who's signing the check or tapping the card as it goes nowadays. But we know that there is someone who's influencing the decision maker. So that is the person that you want to reach. It could be the decision maker, but it could be the person who has their ear. But then there are other people you might want to reach because your situation, your expertise will point you to where you can get the best information from this. And a really worthwhile question to ask is that person that you want to reach, what do they need? What do they need? Because just like you were not looking for baby clothes before there was a baby on the way, people have a very specific need that they need to meet. And the one that is top of mind for them, and probably the one that's causing them the most pain, literally, is the one that they're going to take the most action on. So in marketing, they have this brutal word they use. They talk about pain points. So the person who wants to come and do business with you, the one who's ready, they just don't know about you yet. What's hurting them most? And there is a temptation for us to think, oh, but what I offer is good. It's not essential. But if you can find the exact thing that they need, then you have the pain point. And if you can address this in your media placement, that is going to be the thing that makes the difference, the thing that makes people listen. So very often media features are going to be framed in the light of, if you have this problem, this is the article to read. This is the show to listen to. This is the place to go to. And here is our expert who can help you. So the person who, for example, can't sleep, anybody who's had several poor nights sleep in a row will know this is a pain point, right? It literally becomes an emergency when your brain starts swimming because you weren't able to sleep for a couple of nights. What would you be willing to trade for a good night's sleep every night? It actually becomes priceless. So knowing that, where is your ideal client hurting, will help you to see what is it that you're going to share in your media placement. You might also want to think about this. What do they already know? Because the scary thing is that your solution can be so good, but you're so close to your expertise. You're such an expert that you can't explain to people why what you give is value. They understand their pain, but they don't understand your solution. So really being ready to go and speak to them in terms of what they're experiencing, where their needs are, in terms of the solution they're looking for, that is where they're going to hear you. Because when you come with your solution, they simply might not hear it. And then that leads us to the big question. Where are you most likely to find that person? So just this morning, I saw a wonderful post, very controversial, from someone who advises marketers and advertisers. And he said this. He said, I'm going to make a really unpopular statement. Advertisers are still throwing money at radio, but they're not helping people to advertise on podcasts. Why is that? And there's a very simple reason for this. We all have been conditioned, well, at least in the generation of all of us who are here, radio was big, TV was big. And for some of us in smaller countries, there were even only so many radio stations. And they were local, right? This is where you go. Everybody got the same news. But that could be a good reason to go and advertise to everybody who hears your radio station. But if your product is not for everybody, aren't you wasting your money? You only need to share your message where people are ready and receptive for it. You don't need to be on the cover of every magazine because your message is not relevant to every reader. But you do want to be on the cover of that blog post that is read by the people who are looking for the solution you offer. So that is our key. Really understand your who. So we started with why. Why do you want to be in the media? Now, if you know who you want to reach, that begins to illuminate where you go next. And it begins to answer the question of where. Where are you going to go? So let's do a little poll here and let's see. In the past week, how many major TV channels have you watched? So if you've watched any major TV channels, you can put the number in the chat. So Chantal says 0, Kendra says 0, Alistair says 0. Are we all a bunch of weirdos? Melanie 0, Anna-Marie 0. Whoa, this is really scary. See, they're putting all their advertising money there. Susan 1, thank you, Susan, you're flying the flag. They'll be so relieved. But that's it, Cindy. We found our people, but more and more people are like this. Now, how many shows have you watched on Netflix or your subscription channel or on YouTube? Or maybe even TikTok or wherever you're at? Lots? Lots is a good answer. Does anybody agree with Kendra? There's 2. Oh, very busy. Plenty, loads. Occasional movie, YouTube, there we go. So we're getting a lot of our information from places where it's for our people, because when you go there, you know what you're looking for, right? And that makes it the place to go and reach the people who are already interested in the topic that you address. So much simpler, right? So much simpler. And there are, of course, also other media. So a really great story about this is Red Bull, the energy drink that you really shouldn't be drinking, but so many people love. And Melanie has stories for us about Red Bull, I do believe. It's a really good one for keeping you going on your parties and just staying awake. But once again, it's not for everybody. But who really enjoys Red Bull? What are the ways they advertise? I wonder if you can put in the chat. Where do you see Red Bull ads, the ones that you remember most? Extreme adventure. There you go. Yeah, that's it. YouTube, possibly, yes. And what about the Grand Prix? So Red Bull, outdoor things, yes. So Red Bull really go and sponsor the events, the experiences, the things that will reach people who are interested in their offering. Their people. They know that you're probably not going to be watching ads, but their people are going to be out in clubs. They're going to be in adventure sports. They're going to be outdoors. They're going to be at the Grand Prix. So that is the place to reach people with an experience. So your place of reaching people might be very different from what we traditionally think about in terms of a media message or placement. And that brings us to our next question, which is when. It's very tempting to think of media placement only when we have an important message to share, only when the book is launching, only when there's a new product to launch. But it could be that having that slow drip feed is much more sustainable. So if you're out there from time to time, then people can remember you. They'll trust you rather than running a kind of a control campaign at the time when it becomes an emergency. Much more power lies in being available and being seen over time slowly. But for some things, it might be seasonal. You could have something that's really, really relevant at certain times. So Kendra, for example, you work in financial coaching, and that is a service that people become especially aware of at times like tax season, at times like the beginning of the year when they have big new ambitions. So you can take advantage of that and really put in a blitz when it is the season. But one of the best ways is just to see what are the opportunities, where is the need right now? And that is a very powerful way to go as well. And I'll be showing you with some of the resources we have here, what are some of the ways that you can actually reach the people who are asking for information in your field now? Because wouldn't that just be the best thing if there's somebody who is desperate for your expert opinion, for news about the product or the book or the project that you're working on, the service that you offer, and they need news now. And tomorrow it goes out to their audience. So that gives you the exact placement that you need. That high urgency means they'll be really interested in what you have to say. Lovely. Oh, thank you, Cindy. So if you don't have the toolkit yet, you'll find it at the link in the chat. Thank you very much for that one, Cindy. And at this point, I'd actually like to give you a chance to say, like, what do you think is the best approach for you? Is it going to be once off when you have something that you want to share? Is it going to be more seasonal? Or is a regular diet of having you mentioned in the media going to be the best approach for your business and for the results, for the people you serve, and for the why that you have? So in the light of your why and your who, what is your when that works best? Susan says probably regular, and that sounds about right for your line of work. Alistair, regular, definitely. Definitely, because then people are ready for the next book, right? Regular, consistent. Right, lovely. That's beautiful. Because all of this means it becomes much more of a habit. So you don't have to go in and do this massive, exhausting media blitz when it's time to go and do something to publicize your work. Excellent. Thank you all very much. Right. Lola as well. Regular. Great. And the good news is there are many regular opportunities to appear in the media. And think about this from a journalist's point of view. You would love to have your expert work out there, right? Or if you're marketing a service, or if you have an organization that you are championing, that is the goal of what we want. But what about the journalists? You use the word regularly and consistently. Do you know what the life of a journalist consists of? Regular deadlines. Regular deadlines, and they need content, and they need stimulation, and they need sources, and they need experts, and they need juice. They need something that's going to solve their readers' problems. And you, dear visionary, you are the answer to their prayers. But are you listening to their prayers? So I'd like to give you a pipeline that you can hear what the journalists are praying for. Does that sound good? Awesome. Great. Let's go take a look. But before we go there, there's a bit of an element here as well. Let's see, we've had our W's and things, right? We had our big why. Why do you want placement? Who are you talking to? When will you talk to them? And also, then we said, where will you find them? What are the right media? But now we come to what? What is it that you are going to tell them? What are you going to tell them about you? What are you going to tell them about your brand? What are you going to tell them they can do next? Because if a journalist came to you today from this event and said, I saw you were there, I saw you do this, I want to interview you today, I think all of you in this room today could do a really good interview. You all have amazing work. You all have an amazing way of expressing it. But do you have somewhere to take them? So that if somebody stumbles across your interview next week or next month or next year or 5 years into the future, that they will still have somewhere where they can go and find you because they see this old article in a magazine that happened to be at their friend's holiday home, and you're in that magazine, and they love what they read, and now they go look for you and poof, it's like finding a needle in the haystack. What are you going to give them so that they are so inspired, so well informed, and so ready to take action because of your message, that even if we put you in a time capsule to 5 years in the future, anybody who sees the piece of publicity that you had is going to go, I need to contact this person right now. And they will actually be able to find you. So that is one of the biggest challenges, because many people go to all the trouble to appear in the media, and then they have maybe only one offering, or they have only one little element of what they do. So it doesn't actually lead through to build the trust and then gain the following that they want. And then, of course, many of you said, we want awareness, we want also the trust, and then we want people to take action. So how are they going to take action if they can't see how? Are you building the road for them? And that is really an art. So the question with that is also, is there something that you can always be sure is going to be in what you give people on your show or on your appearance or in your interview? If the right ingredients are in place, you know that people will have that, give you that credibility, and they'll know where to find you, and they'll know what to do next. So it can be a good habit to have a few things that people will always have. And one of those is, drum roll, let me hand over to you. What would you share in a media interview if you went on today? Let's see, I see a LinkedIn profile. That looks very good, Kendra. Excellent, excellent suggestion, especially in your line of work. Your LinkedIn link would be fantastic. Alistair, you've got goodies to share that would be well worth sharing. What would you share? More LinkedIns, yes. Your website, yes, your YouTube channel. And of course, if you've got a book, right? So Alistair, you've got the book, and that is always a very, very good one. So you can put in your Amazon link, for example. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. So you can actually sell a book. That's nice. Go on a show, sell books. And if people who are doing publicity like this can actually watch their Amazon stats and see every time you've been on a show, and it doesn't just spike, it usually does this, and then there's a while that you have some traction from that. So that is awesome. Membership links, Kendra, bingo, that's right on the money. So that's a really, really good one. If there is something that you can share that is really valuable, you also want a quick bio that is quick enough to fit in a box. Many places will only give you 100 words. So on articles and this kind of place, you usually have 100-word bio that needs to be broad enough, all-encompassing enough that we know you are the person that we are talking about, especially if your name can get you in trouble, because some people have the same name as someone else, or you might have some kind of confusion. Be sure that there is enough there that we know this is you and this is what you do. And then also any links, the more permanent, the better. Excellent. And then if you're going to speak to a specific audience, or there is a specific readership, you might have a very specific angle on it. So for example, Alistair, if you are interviewed by someone on YouTube, then your YouTube channel is the best link because people are right there. so they can follow you on YouTube right away. But if you're talking about your book and you are going on, you're having an interview in a magazine, this is somewhere where people are much more likely to be readers, right? So they're going to move on to your link and maybe buy the book. So really see what is the best place to take that specific audience. And then also some of these might be seasonal. So as you're launching a new program, that might be the link that you're sharing and so on. So it really is all about exactly where are you taking the people, because we don't just want publicity. I think you heard in Cindy's introduction, she said, this is about getting you the publicity you desire and the profits you deserve. We want the publicity, but publicity alone is just a lot of hot air. It's all about publicity that converts to where you need people, and the value of being mentioned, the value of just having that extra link that people can find when they happen to Google you, the value of having fans, the value of having followers on social media. This is massive, but ultimately you want it to feed through to where you can show me the money, right? But then the kicker question, we've had our why, our who, our where, our what, and our when. Those are the W's. But what about the H? How do you actually do this? And really leveraging those opportunities in the media, that's really the fine art. And with this, many of you have said the time to do it is regularly. So to actually go and secure your media placement, there are a couple of ways that you can do this. One is reactive, and that is through media requests. And this is one of the quickest ways to get results, but it is extremely dependent on who is out there and who is looking for information. But if you make use of media requests, it could mean you see a request today, and by the end of this week, you've been published in even a major publication internationally. So shall we go look at how you can do that? I'm going to share my screen with you, and hopefully I know where I'm taking you. Hold on a second. I'm having Mac phobia. I'm on a very vast Mac that is not my own, and it's taking me places. So let's see. I think I'm sharing my desktop. I hope that's the case. Here we go. Can you see Help a Reporter on your screen? Yes? Help a Reporter, great. Okay, so this website is called Help a Reporter. If you have ever come across the hashtag HARO or Harrow, this is very commonly used on Twitter and in other places. And this is literally where reporters and other media people ask for an expert who can be a source for their stories. And if this does not impress you, I don't know what will. Here are some of their clients: Reuters, there is your Fox News, Chicago Tribune, Time, Mashable, Refinery 29, the New York Times, the Globe and Mail, Wall Street Journal, ABC. Would this be a nice audience for you? Well, it depends on who your ideal audience is, right? But those are great sources. Now, very small sources also make use of them. So this is a great place to get it. All you need to do is you sign up here under I'm a Source, and they will ask you a couple of questions that will help you to get the information that you need. And they will give you a wealth of media requests every day, 3 times, in a massive email that looks like this. Let me show you. It looks like this. Every day you get this big fat email in your inbox 3 times. It's so long that like the introduction page can be up over 100 options. So this is a lot to deal with. And managing this by yourself can be a little bit of a drag, but there are a few tricks to manage this. And these I share in the Media Strategy Mafia. So you'll be hearing a little bit more about that later on. There are ways to make sure that you get the stories that you want without having to spend your whole life reading the Harrow newsletter. But having that subscription set up can be a goldmine. With a brand new client in the health and wellness space, I secured an article. She was just starting out. She had no reputation in this area yet. And she secured an article that arrived, that was published not only in an international online magazine, but it was also republished in Thrive Global. Now, if you know Thrive Global, or if you haven't heard of them, the Huffington Post creator, mastermind behind that, Arianna Huffington, started Thrive Global as a wellness platform. So this is a great way to reach places like that, even if you're brand spanking new to your industry. So that is Help a Reporter. The link is in your media placement cheat sheet. And the emails look like that. So that's only for the brave. If you prefer something a little bit more saucy, I recommend Source Bottle. Now, Source Bottle also have all these amazing clients around the world. They are based in Australia and New Zealand, but they do have international clients. And with them, once again, you can simply sign up as a source. This is free of charge. And every day you get a beautiful, gorgeous email in your inbox at least 3 times a day, with opportunities for you to appear in the media. Now, this is a lot prettier than the Harrow one. So it's a really, really good place to see. Now, some of these sources will only want people in Australia and New Zealand. Many of them are international. So it's a great one to watch. And this one I find much more manageable to sift through than the boring one full of text. And then a couple of you are in South Africa. The classic here is mediaalerts.co.za, and you can sign up for free as an expert, and they will give you a newsletter every single day. You can set your clock by it, 10:30 a.m. South African time, every single weekday. You will get local sources or local publications looking for sources, and there are usually 5 to 10 per day. So those are all really, really good ways to be reactive about your, to take a kind of a reactive approach to your media placement opportunities. But what about being proactive? Any ideas? Well, I see some of you are typing. Oh, is that the LinkedIn blog? Very nice. Yes, you can actually see who is looking for things there. And being more proactive is very simply a matter of going to see who could be looking for an expert like you. And the old-fashioned name for this is just networking. Go and meet the people who could be looking for you and build up relationships with them. LinkedIn is a great place to do it, but many journalists are scandalously quiet and uninvolved on LinkedIn. So it might not be their place. If you see, when you get a magazine with a journalist who's covering the kind of story you want to be in, you see a publication that covers your field. It could be traditional media, it could be online. Start building relationships with those journalists. And I'd strongly recommend that you do not say, hey, would you like to interview me for a story? I'm a source if you ever need something. You don't have to say that. All you need to say is, I'm really enjoying your work. Go share their work on your social media platforms, tag them. They will come and follow you. So the best success I've had with clients has been not by pitching them to appear on people's platforms, but rather simply by building the connection and supporting the journalist, the podcaster, the blogger, the YouTuber, and the media producer, the film producer, support their work Let them see what you're doing and watch them come to you. It's a fun game and you can try it at home. I would love to hear your success stories with this. And it's much, much, much more satisfying because you know what? They think it's their idea. I often say, and Cindy will be evidence of this, I have an evilly Machiavellian mind when it comes to this stuff. And you might never, ever trust me again. But the fact is, people act much better. Look at Melanie. Having a really, really good laugh about that. It's true. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. But the fact is, we all feel empowered when we make the decision ourselves. So give them all the pieces of the puzzle so they can go put it together for themselves and come to you asking for help. They'll feel really empowered and they can't turn you away that way. A small disclaimer here, this could take time. That's why having your regular, consistent approach is brilliant. Right. So that is really where this leads you. But the big challenge is that once you've found these places to be, how do you make sure that you have the best success rate with everything that comes through? And how do you make sure that the people who've read your article, who've seen your episode, who have heard your podcast, whatever it is where you've been placed in the media, how do you take them to actually come to you? Do you want them to just read an article and think, oh, that was nice? Or do you want them to read an article and go, whoa, I need to connect with this person. I need this person's book. I need to take her course. I need to go and support her organization. I see Kalnisha is here, and Kalnisha works with a lot of not-for-profit organizations. How do you actually get that kind of action? And again, there's your Machiavellian mind opportunity, right? Without pointing out the steps to them too explicitly, let them feel that they've taken the initiative. And that, of course, is what we help people to do in the Media Strategy Mafia. So if you'd like to find out more about what those exact steps are, for the Mafia, we actually do have a whole free month of your opportunity to come and learn, get support, get all the information you can, and see if you like it. And in your virtual toolkit today, you'll see there's also a link and an opportunity with a discount code so that if you should decide to stay with the Media Strategy Mafia, you can always stay on at a very highly discounted rate and make use of that. Now, I have connected a few dots for you there, but I would so strongly recommend getting in touch with this group of people and see what it can do for you in that first month that you have for free. There's no obligation, but there is plenty and plenty of opportunity. With that, Cindy, I'd love to hand over to you. And are there any questions that you still have before we wrap up our hour?
There are no questions in the chat. This has been a very robust session. I think everybody participated so beautifully in the chat. So thank you to everyone in attendance and those who have to drop off. If you are going to watch this recording, thank you for your attendance. I have no questions. If anyone wants to just open their mic to ask anything, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, I have one more thing about the how, because tomorrow night in the Media Strategy Mafia meeting, we will be talking exactly about that. How is it that you go to, thanks Anna-Marie, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to look exactly how is it that you make sure that you get the best success rate out of your media placements, and then also that you have somewhere to take them so that once people hear your interview, where is it that they go next and where is it that they go then? And then how do you make sure that you have a way to reach them and you even have something you can provide to them, whether it's a very, very small paid service or even something that's free, but why not open the door to a small paid purchase, whether it's the tiniest ebook, the tiniest little paid video or course or a consultation or a membership program like the Mafia that can help people to take action and really help them to get results. We want to be able to deliver people something they can really see the success with, without a massive risk, but in a way that you can actually see the results in your bottom line. And yeah, that is it from me, Cindy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marie. The session has been super, super informative. You are always so gracious and extremely generous with your knowledge and your wisdom. And I personally appreciate your insights. So thank you very much for hosting the session, or attending the session. I'm hosting, of course.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you all so much for being with us. Just wonderful to see all your faces, some familiar ones, some new ones, some I haven't seen for a long time. Really, really great to have you with us. And I hope this is going to give you immense value. I hope to see you in the Mafia meeting very, very soon. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, darling. That was great.